Every month, I tend to budget my salary and I share that information on social media, mainly TikTok and Instagram. And in March, I decided that I would reduce my salary through totally legal means, i.e., unpaid parental leave and salary sacrificing into my pension in order to qualify for childcare, tax-free childcare and free childcare hours. Now, I received a lot of backlash on social media for this. So, is it tax efficient or is it immoral to reduce your salary from 125k to just below 100k so that you can claim additional help from the government for tax free and free childcare hours? First and foremost, the main reason for reducing your salary, if you're anywhere near the 125k mark, is to avoid the 60% tax trap that exists here in England and Wales. Now, for any earnings over £100, you lose £1 of your personal allowance for every £2 you earn. So by the time you get to 125,140, you've lost your entire personal allowance, meaning you will also pay 20% tax on that, on top of the 40% tax that you were already paying in that bracket anyway. Meaning that any pound that you earn over 100 and below 125,140 is taxed at an effective rate of 60%. On top of that, you also pay national insurance. So that is incentive enough. Now, as parents, you can also claim tax-free childcare and 33 hours of childcare if you earn less than £100,000. Now, obviously, I don't earn less than £100,000, so HMRC have this calculation called adjusted net pay or adjusted net income. Now, what that is your gross salary minus any pension contributions, minus any charitable donations, and then any other salary sacrifice schemes that you may be partaking in. So there is car schemes, cycle to work, that sort of thing. Once you've taken all of that out, that income that is left is basically what is used for the calculation. So in my case, I earn approximately £125,000 and I am putting in £21,000 into my pension. But as a parent, I also can take parental leave, which is unpaid. Now, more on that later, but essentially, I'll get 2 weeks off this financial year and I won't be paid for it at all. And so that will reduce my salary by a further £4,500 approximately, leaving my net adjusted pay at £99,500. So, not only is that super tax efficient, it now brings me under the threshold to be able to claim for the childcare stuff. Now, how much is that worth? The tax-free childcare is worth £500 every 3 months. So basically, it's a little bit like your pension. You put it in, if you don't have salary sacrifice, that is, you put it in and then HMRC tops it up 25%. So I can put in over the course of a year and gain basically £2,000. Okay, so if I put in £8,000 over the course of the year, HMRC will top that up by £2,000 in total, but it works on a quarterly basis. So April, May, June, you can claim up to £500 essentially, and then the same for each subsequent quarter throughout the year. So that is £2,000 that I'm able to claw back as a result of what I'm doing. On top of that, I can also now claim 33 hours for my 2-year-old rather than the 15 free hours that everybody gets. Okay, so what is that worth to me? Well, we worked out it's approximately £300 a month because basically the government will subsidise the nursery fees and pay the nursery, but then the nursery are only really being paid for the actual childcare costs. So then we'll get an additional bill for like the sundries and stuff. So and the 33 hours are only during school time. So it's kind of prorated. It's like 33 hours times 39 weeks and then divided by the months of the year. So it works out roughly, we pay £75 per day for our little one to be in nursery. It works out, I think, around £300 a month when we're better off. So I've gained £3,600 from that. I've gained £2,000 from the tax-free income. And that gains me £5,600 back. And that is what most people had an issue with. Now, I contribute almost £40,000 per year through tax and national insurance. And I was then told in the comments that the taxpayer is having to subsidise my childcare so that I could put more into my pension. Not thinking that obviously I am the taxpayer in this scenario and I definitely contribute more than I take out. but that didn't go down well. And so what do you think? Do you think I am being immoral by doing it, by claiming I'm entitled to? And these schemes exist for a reason, okay? So that calculation exists for a reason, and HMRC put it in place. Our government did that. And that's because they want me to put money into my pension so that I'm less of a burden when I retire. By putting money into my pension, I will not be reliant on anything more than the state pension, whereas some people that only have state pension and are still renting are potentially then going to be claiming pension credits. There are lots of things I'm going to be able to pay for, and most importantly, I'm still going to be a taxpayer in retirement. Now, the state pension is currently less than the personal allowance, meaning anyone relying on just the state pension will not pay tax. I, however, will have a private pension and a state pension, ideally if it's still there, and I will be at least a basic rate taxpayer throughout my retirement. They are getting an additional 30, 40 years of my tax, depending on when I retire, versus somebody that doesn't. Now, onto the parental leave that I skimmed over earlier on. Basically, for every child that you have or adopt, you're entitled to 18 weeks of unpaid parental leave throughout their life until they hit 18. Now, I didn't take any for the first year or so, and I've got several children, and I haven't made the most of this at all. In fact, I've done 2 or 3 weeks because I just couldn't afford it, really. I haven't always been a high earner. But essentially, you can take up to 4 weeks per year, and I think it might even be per child. I'll pop a link down below about the government legislation for it. There's a great document online that gives you all of the rules. But essentially, I can do that, and I will lose that pay in the month that I take it. So it's April now. As of recording this, it's the 1st of April, and I'm taking a week's unpaid leave just before Easter. I will not be paid for that at all in April. So it is a hit to the salary. It's not quite as good as being able to buy your leave. So some employers allow you to purchase annual leave, and you can purchase a week. But that week then is taken out of your salary over the course of 12 months and spread out nicely, whereas mine will be all hit in April. And then I've got another week in October, meaning by the time I get to the end of the year, I will have earned the net adjusted amount of around £99,500. I'll need to be very careful with it and double check, but I think I've calculated it correctly. So let me know what you think below. It's obviously a fairly controversial topic. I am a particularly high earner and I can afford, and people think I should be just paying for this, but I'm also putting a lot into the system to prop up systems like this. And so am I entitled to take it back? I'm going to do it anyway. Of course, I've already adjusted my salary. So I'm interested to get your thoughts because it caused quite a debate on Instagram and TikTok. Now, most people that were earning high say, I absolutely also do this. It's tax efficient. It's the sensible thing to do. The lower earners were the ones that had the bigger problem with it. My argument to them was, I contribute quite a lot. I quite a lot more than you. Why should you get it and I don't? Controversial maybe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you're not already subscribed, do hit that subscribe button. I'm going to try to get better with this content. This is the first long form video I've done in quite some time. Let me know what you think.